with, I have some diced red peppers as well as some green peppers, and a little bit of celery gives it really good flavor. I have some diced onions over there that I had ready to go. I like dicing onions ahead of time because I cry a lot with them, so it's good I had a little baggie left. And then I also have a little bit of shallots and a whole bunch of tomatoes. These are like 5 medium-sized tomatoes, and I like the ones in the vine. They're just so delicious. So let's go ahead and get it going. Now for the steak, you can actually use some chuck, which is very tender when slow cooked, but I got this one. It was a top sirloin Angus steak, which is really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and chop these off into big chunks, and then I'll be throwing those into our I basically threw in 3 tablespoons or 4 tablespoons of olive oil, and I'm gonna go ahead and put this at medium heat and allow it to heat up before I start sauteing and throwing in the goodies. So now that the olive oil is nice and hot, I'm gonna go ahead and dip all of my goodies in there and saute them. I did throw in the shallots and about a cup of diced onion. You can make it a lot finer if you like. I just like them a lot chunkier, so you can kind of see it when the meat is shredded. I like using a spatula most of the time because nothing sticks to it, and if it does, it comes right off. So go ahead and saute this on medium to high heat. Don't allow it to burn. You just want the juices to start coming out, and just stir it up a little bit. So I'm gonna wait for it to begin sizzling a little bit more and really release all the nice juices, and I'll see you guys in a bit. You can see it's sauteing really nice. Now is a good time to actually begin adding all of the other ingredients. And if you have people that are not very patient with this kind of cooking, because the moment you start sauteing this, the whole house smells so delicious. You get all of the pepper smell and all the onion smell, and you want to kind of slow cook this and take your time, otherwise it won't come out right. So make sure that they already ate, your family already ate, or you're cooking something right after this, because otherwise they won't get out of the kitchen and they'll be begging for this to be finished and done. I know that Lee always does that. So we're gonna begin adding all the other ingredients, and let's go ahead and get that started. I already cut up the sirloin into big chunks, and this is kind of how you want to cut it. Now, like I said, chuck is a lot more reasonable than this, so if you want to go ahead and get some chuck meat, that works great as well. Now we're going to go ahead and add some water to this. Now, you're going to have to be adding quite a bit of water throughout the cooking of this, because the steam just takes it all away, and you know, it keeps going low. So you have to be checking it every 30 minutes or so while it's slow cooking. If you have a slow cooker, you can go ahead and use that. I have one. I just prefer to do it on the stove, but it's all about preference. You can do that if you want to. So we're gonna go ahead and add quite a bit of water to this, add our meat, and I'll see you guys in a bit. So as you can see, I already put in the meat, so I'm going to go ahead and add my tomatoes. Now, I put it in my measuring cup, and it's about 3.5 cups of diced tomato, but I'm also going to be adding one of those cans of diced tomato as well. So we're going to go ahead and add more water and make sure it's nice and covered. So now I will add a little bit of salt, and this is to taste, and you want to continue tasting as you go. A little bit of pepper, which I will have to do away from the video only because I only have one hand that I'm using the camera with. And then I will add a little bit of vinegar. Not very much. About 1/4 of a cup, or maybe even less. And then a little bit of cumin. Perfect. Some bay leaves. So I'm just gonna add very little, maybe about 1/2 cup, and that'll give it really good flavor. So we're gonna go ahead and just stir this up, and then come back and taste it in a little bit. If we need to add more, we can, because we're gonna be adding water to this because it will evaporate and disappear. So we have to be adding water pretty often, and just leave this on medium for about I would say medium low, for about 4 to 10 hours depending on how much patience you have. The longer you leave it, I feel that the better it tastes, because the meat really becomes really tender, and I just love it. I love slow cooking things. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave this for a couple of hours, and then I'll see you guys in a few. So this is basically how it's looking now after about 4 hours of slow cooking, and I'm just gonna add a little bit more water to this and allow it to cook for a couple more. I like cooking it for about 6 to 8 hours, sometimes 10 on very slow cook. The meat is ready to go, but I still wanted to slow cook a little bit longer. This is a perfect time to go ahead and taste and add some more salt if you need to, or seasoning or whatever it may be, and then allow it to simmer again and very low heat, and just stir every 30 minutes or so. Check on it, make sure it's okay, and I'll see you guys in a couple of hours. So now it's been simmering quite a while. Gosh, I'm already lost for words. It's getting late. I'm just gonna go ahead and take out the chunks of meat, just the chunks of meat by itself, put it in a bowl here. You can go ahead and shred the beef in here if you like, but I have my method of doing this. So I'm gonna go ahead and just remove all of the beef from our soup here. Now with my blender, I'm going to be using this device. I'm not sure what it's called, but this will pretty much not puree this soup, but make it a little bit more watery and not so chunky, if I'm making any kind of sense. So I'm sure you can probably use your blender in very low and just continue to turn it on and stop it and, you know, do that. But here we go. It just pretty much just blends it out, squishes things together, and make sure that you take out your bay leaves. Alright, so when finished, it will look something like this, very well pureed, but not all the way. And then I'm going to toss in the shredded beef that I just did here. It's just nice and shredded. I did it with 2 forks. And then I'm going to go ahead and toss it back into our soup. Perfect. Take my spoon and then just mix it all up in the sauce there. And then usually I'll just leave it overnight in the refrigerator and serve it the next day. But you can go ahead and serve it now if you like. I just feel that when I leave it overnight and serve it tomorrow, it really gets all the flavors to really marinate inside the meat, and it just tastes amazing. So I'm not gonna eat this until tomorrow, and it's your preference. So I will show you guys my plate and the final results tomorrow. Recording. Go for it. Say, this is the final dish.
This is the final dish.
It looks amazing.
And it looks like amazing.
And it's so yummy.
And it's so yummy.
Alright, so now for the taste. So you taste it.
What?
What do you think?
I think it tastes good.
Yeah. Thank you, Mr. Cooker Guy.